Hello, I am Jamila McMallow, and I am a mindset coach for women executives and entrepreneurs. I help my clients to heal their issues from childhood in my 90-day program, which is a results oriented, no woo alternative to traditional talk therapy or counseling. Why? Because there's more than one way to do your emotional healing, and I am an alternate route. Today, we are talking about the pressure of being a woman in a leadership role. So this could be in corporate. Maybe you are the CEO, the VP, director, whatever. You're a decision maker. You also could be an entrepreneur, have your own business. So yes, you would be the CEO of your own company. You would be the leader of your own company. So when you're in that role, you have a lot of responsibility. You have a lot of weight on your shoulders. And so we're just going to talk about a couple of things today that you may be dealing with, and perhaps some strategies to support you. So if you're tuning in live, go ahead and drop a hello in the comments. I would love to know who's out there watching. And if you're watching the replay, hey, comment and let me know that you're watching. So I know that you took a look at this when you had an opportunity. So one of the first things that women in leadership roles or positions can struggle with is something that has been coined imposter syndrome. But I want to explain it a little bit because it's not a term that's just readily known by people in corporate. Sometimes it's just in the corporate space, I mean, in the coaching space or the helping and supporting space. We use these different terms, but just people outside of there, like, what are you talking about? So when I say imposter syndrome, what I mean is that when you are at work, you may feel to some extent like you don't belong. You may feel to some extent like you have to hold back or hide who you are or pretend to be someone else in order to fit in, because you don't feel like the people that you work with or who you're surrounded by can really understand your experience or even share it at all, that they even understand where you're coming from. You just don't really relate to anyone, like I said, that's sitting around the table. And so you might kind of feel like a fish out of water. Now, that does not mean that it affects your job performance. You, in fact, do an excellent job. Okay. That's why you're in that position, but you still may struggle to feel like you have to prove yourself, like you're maybe not good enough, and that you just have to continually go above and beyond because it's just something you feel compelled to do because you don't want to lose your position. You feel like to some extent that you might be found out. They might figure out that, oh no, she doesn't belong here, and then you'll be escorted out the door. This can also show up. I had a colleague, we were talking about this. This can also show up in friendships. It may not just be that you feel like an imposter at work, but you may also struggle to feel like you belong in groups of women. You may feel like an outsider or an imposter there, even though these are women who maybe share your aspirations. They're in the same career, field. They're in corporate, et cetera, et cetera. But you still may just not feel like you belong or fit in. Or maybe you're trying to fit in with a group that you don't belong in, right? They don't share your aspirations. They don't share your interests. And you're trying to find a way to become some part of this group. And rather than say, okay, this isn't for me, you begin to judge yourself and look at yourself in a negative way because of the fact that you don't belong with this particular group or feel at home or feel accepted or whatever. So all of that is kind of encompassing into what is coined the phrase, like say, imposter syndrome. And this is something that many, many women in leadership deal with, especially women of color. Okay. It can be in fact, especially women, people of color, and then especially women of color, I should say, because then you have both going on for you. So what can you do? What's the source of it? Essentially, yes, there are circumstances and situations and things going on outside of us that we have no control over, where we can literally be in an environment where no one looks like us, and we are going to feel like the oddball out, right? That's just the way it is. For many of us, we've had that experience. We had it depending on where you grew up, maybe you had it in school. For some of us, it didn't happen until college. And then for some of us, it didn't happen until we hit the corporate world and we realized, whoa, okay, that's what it looks like to be a minority. I am the only one. So I say all that to say that I get that. But those feelings of not being good enough, like you belong, like you're going to be found out, like I said, it may not affect your job performance. You might be doing a phenomenal job. And in fact, I know you are, but you may struggle with these things going on in your head simply because what you're doing essentially is being a trailblazer. You're going places no one else that you've ever seen has been before. And so you didn't have any examples in your family, perhaps, or you didn't have anybody really showing you the way. And so you're out here doing things that you just didn't know were possible for you. And so what can happen is the person that you believe you are allowed to be and the person you are currently being or trying to be don't add up. And so that can create a conflict where we do a lot of overthinking, where we do a lot of second guessing ourselves, where we do a lot of self-judgment, all of those things. So all of that kind of swirls into that ball of imposter syndrome and can be some of the things that you may be struggling with as a woman in a leadership role. Now, that second piece, which is probably even bigger, is the pressure to actually succeed, the overworking, the lacking balance, the drive to constantly push, 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 go, 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 do, be, right? Yes, it's gotten you to where you are. And I personally, like I said, my clients are high performers, overachievers, however you want to name it. I'm that way, so I get it. But what the issue is there's nothing wrong with desiring to be successful, correct? There's nothing wrong with wanting more. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's a gift that you're able to focus, be determined, reach a goal, and then move to the next one. But where you may struggle is you don't really celebrate. You don't really stop to say, wow, that was great. You just move on to the next thing. Excuse me, I'm just taking a sip of water here. And so the problem with that is it can really lead to burnout, or it can really lead to you just being unhappy. And so here it is, you finally have the so-called dream life, right? Got the dream job, got the dream income, got the husband and 2.5 kids, and the nice house and all these things, and yet you still feel unfulfilled, or you still feel unhappy, or you still feel like, oh my goodness, someone's going to figure out that I don't deserve any of this and it's all going to be taken away. Okay. And so in order to stave off that fear, you continue to relentlessly push yourself, overexert yourself, because you feel like you can't stop. Because if you do, then this whole house of cards that you've built up could just potentially fall down. Now, I want you to understand that all of that is going on just in here. It's not the truth. Your company, if something were to happen to you, I'm sorry to let you know, they will replace you. Okay. They will miss you, but you will be replaced, and the company will go on to be successful and make money without you. Your role is critical. Your contribution is pivotal. Your talent is appreciated, but you are replaceable. So never put things that are not going to matter when it's all said and done ahead of the things that do matter. But see, that's hard to do when you feel like there's this weight on you that you have to do it, that you have to, and not only that you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to perform at this level in every area of your life. But the truth is, you know that you're not. And typically high performing women, high achieving women, where they tend to see the fallout from this relentless push and pressure to succeed in a professional way is the fallout happens in their personal relationships, their relationship with themselves first and foremost. Okay, the constant judgment, harsh inner critic, negative self-talk, the relationship with your husband, because how present and connected could you possibly be to him emotionally when you're stressed out and always mentally thinking about what's going on with work? The relationship with your children, same thing. When you're not mentally and emotionally present, your physical body just being there, people can feel when you're not paying attention, when you're not connecting to them. Your husband, your children, they can feel that. And at the end of the day, those are the people that truly, really matter to you, and who are going to be there when it's all said and done. And the story of your life, the legacy that you want to leave behind, isn't just that you were always working or that you achieved this great thing at your job, but that you were a great woman, period. You were a great person, period. Because you no longer exist, you know, the hole you've left behind, the shoes you've left behind are too big to fill. Okay. That's what you want to leave behind, is a mark for all the right reasons, not the wrong, because you maybe didn't have things in the right order, didn't have them prioritized. Now, what I know about many women in leadership is you already recognize that because of this intense pressure, it's absolutely necessary for you to do something to find some way to support your emotional health and well-being. Got that. No doubt you've probably been in therapy. Maybe you're currently in therapy or you're going to counseling, whatever, and you've been doing it for years, really using it more as a coping mechanism or a coping strategy rather than an actual solution to what's really going on underneath. And that's okay. I'm not knocking therapy or counseling. It is one way to do your emotional healing. It works for many people, but for some it does not. Didn't work for me. And all of my clients were in therapy or counseling, and they still came to me. Well, I won't say at the same time, one was, but the rest had been in it, were not really satisfied with the experience, wanted to try something different because they were tired of talking about these same issues. And so they came to me because with my process, it is all about going to the root of the problem. What is the point of origin of your imposter syndrome? What is the point of origin of you feeling like you're not good enough or constantly pushing yourself or relentlessly just driving yourself over and over? What's that about? Because to me, that's all that really matters. What is the root cause of it? Because we're not about to sit around and talk about all the things that are your triggers or that cause you to get upset when, someone says the wrong thing. How about this? How about we just find the root cause of the trigger and get rid of it? Okay? Because I'm not going to spend time talking to you about symptoms. I don't do that. I'm not a paid listener. I'm a paid problem solver. I help my clients get from point A to point B in their mindset, in their emotional healing, in their state of being, and in their goals, where they want to be up here so that they can have what they want in their lives in all areas across the board. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the type of support I provide, it is private and exclusive to women in leadership. Why? Because when you are a woman who has a lot of responsibility, when you are a woman that has a lot of people counting on you, looking up to you, it is not easy to admit that you need support. It is not easy to admit that you need help, even though you have been seeking it, right? You have been going and talking and unloading, every week or whatever. And let me just be clear, that's not me. So I'm not going to be your unload person. That's what your best friend is for. Call her up and unload about your week. That's what she's there for, or even your husband. Okay. What I am here to help you to do is the deep level healing that is at the very root and core of who you are. Allow those wounds to heal. Allow those shifts to happen. Allow those breakthroughs to occur so that you can become the next version of yourself that can absolutely fully encompass and embrace all of the excellence that you've created and that you have surrounding you, and then some. Okay? To take the edge off, to take that negative air that's surrounding everything that you're trying to do. Why does it have to be this relentless push? Why is there no self-compassion? Why don't you get a break? Why are you always in this state of beating yourself up and just this constant negative self-talk? You don't have to do that. You don't have to live with that anymore. You don't have to figure out how to manage that voice. No, how about, okay, because here's a little secret. You may have heard me say this before in another video, or maybe you heard somebody else say it. The source, that voice isn't even yours. If you're really honest about it, it's probably one of your parents or a significant caregiver that you had in your life who's doing the fussing, and all you did was pick up the script and keep it on repeat. Now it's in your voice, but it really started, like I said, in childhood. And so I say all that to say that those are the roots. That's the beginning. And so in my 90-day program, we're going to unravel what was established in your childhood relationship with your father, whether he was present or not. We're going to unravel what came out of your childhood relationship with your mother, whether she was present or not. We're going to unravel what effect that ex-husband of yours is still having on you, even though you've been divorced for years or whatever the case is, if that's even necessary. Then we're going to unravel what is at the root of your relationship with money, and why is it this either scarce or lack or a negative state about it, or why do you feel this us versus them thing when it comes to being wealthy, even though you make a lot of money? So you have this weird relationship with it. It's like, I make a lot of money, but I don't know. And so what's at the root of that? We get to the root of that in my 90-day program. Yes, that is what we uncover. That is what we heal. That is what we focus on. Why? Because that is the foundation of who you are, primarily the relationship with your parents. And by the way, if there was some other significant caregiver involved in your upbringing, them too, we're gonna deal with that too, because that's the foundation of who you are. That's the crux. That's the bottom of it. This is what's telling you who you're allowed to be, what you're allowed to have, what you're allowed to do. And so, in order to allow you to be free of what's not serving you, that's where we have to go right to the bottom. And that's what I do. That is the work that I do with my clients. I do not talk about symptoms. We are not just going to be chit-chatting about what happened this week. We're going to talk about what's really going on, and we're going to do it in a very strategic way so that you're not wasting any time, because you've spent years suffering with these feelings. And listen, and I know you're successful, I know you're winning, but you still have been dealing with these things mentally for all of these years. And it's like, why would you want to waste more years talking about them and still experiencing little to no relief? How about we just get rid of them? How's that sound? Okay, because these are nothing but old feelings, old stories, old beliefs that we absolutely can acknowledge, release, and allow to go so that you can heal and create a new set of beliefs that you want to work for you and to govern your life. Okay, so I want to let you know a little bit more about my 90-day program. Like I said, it's specifically designed for women in leadership, women executives and entrepreneurs. The woman who gets the best results from my program is financially stable and emerging. She's winning somewhere in her life, primarily in her career. And this is so important because you have to have some type of energy and momentum happening for you, because we use that to help you create that energy and momentum that you're going to need to do this healing work, because it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses having to face these things. But the good news is this is the last time you're going to have to talk about it. This is the last time you're going to have to feel it. That's it. Okay. That's the crux of my process. We go to the root. We unearth it as it goes, or we uncover it, acknowledge it, allow those hurt feelings to be released, and then you're free of it. So you're no longer shackled to the stories and the beliefs that came from that painful experience. Okay. Does that make sense? Let me know. You can drop it in the comments, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay. But let me just let you know this. It is so important, this work that I do, because it literally changes who you are for the better. Not, there's nothing about you that's good that's going to shift or change, okay? But it's going to allow you to free yourself of these things that have literally been holding you back, have literally been keeping you running in place, and have literally been keeping you from moving to the next version of yourself, the next level of your life, and really feeling like you can win in all these different areas. Now, if you're spread too thin, yeah, that's not going to happen. None of us are perfect or superwoman. We can't be in all places at all times. So again, that goes back to that last point I talked about there being no balance. Because what you're really going to learn, here's the thing, when you really get in touch with who you really are, when you really start understanding your own value, your own worth, really appreciating your time, your energy, guess what becomes a whole lot easier to say? No. And you don't feel guilty, and you don't feel bad about it. And you don't jump in to other people's problems and situations that don't have anything to do with you. You allow other grown folks to deal with their problems and issues. And I mean, unless they ask you for help, right? But you don't just volunteer, sign up, and jump in where you don't belong. So therefore, your plate becomes a lot less full, and you're able to focus on the things that actually matter and actually are important to you. So please let me know in the comments if you've got anything out of this little live that I did here, if there was anything that you appreciated, any thoughts that you have, any questions that you have. By all means, if you would love to learn more about working with me one-on-one in my premium unlimited coaching program, please send me a message. And I'll tell you this, what also makes what I do different, it's not just that we go to the root, and that's when we attack what is the source, the root cause of your challenges, but you also have unlimited support from me. What that means is you have unlimited access, unlimited coaching, unlimited support from me. This isn't just you come see me once a week. Okay. And that's what we do. In fact, you don't even see me once a week. If we're doing Zoom calls, it's every other week, because you need space in between to work through, the exercises and things that we're doing mindset shifts. This is transformational work. And so you need space and time to do that work. Okay. But you have access to me. I use an app called Viber. It's like Boxer, and you can voice memo me. You can text me, at any time. Of course, I may not be able to respond to you immediately. However, when I do get back with you, I'll be able to connect with you right where you were in that moment and provide you with that support, whether it be helping you move through some resistance, helping you work through something that came up that was, because life still happens, right? So yes, I am going to support you through the entire process and during the time we are together, because you're going to have things that come up. I had a client who lost a pet. We worked through that right away. And initially, it has nothing to do with our work, but it had to be something that we worked through together to allow her to be able to focus back on herself. I had another client who, during our time together, her sister died. And so we had to work through that and help her figure out healthy ways to work through her grief, so that she then could once again turn her attention back to herself and complete her own healing. So life is going to happen through this process, okay? I'm not a taskmaster. We go at your pace. I only assign my clients one exercise at a time, which you will do through to completion until you get the result. I am all about my clients getting results. This is not a situation where I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead and log in online and just figure it out for yourself. No, this is definitely a hands-on, one-on-one, unlimited support type program. So if you are the type of woman that loves to feel like you are being seen, heard, and acknowledged, like there's just at least one person who gets you, who understands, who's going to help you move through these problems and not just give you an empty platitude like, oh, well, I hope it gets better, or pat you on the shoulder. Well, that's why you hire me. That's what I do. And that's what we do together. And let me just let you know that once we're done with this initial uncovering work during the 90 days, yes, we can continue working together. Okay. My clients have worked with me longer than just 3 months. And of course, we continue to work on new things. A big part of the process, or that's the fun part, is kind of once you kind of get rid of these foundational things that aren't working for you, the fun part becomes, creating those new beliefs, anchoring them in, coming up with new goals, new desires, all those things. And so, yes, we get to do all of those fun things together, as we continue our work together, and any other new goals that you have that may come up. So yes, I absolutely do solve those problems related to the relationship with your father, your mother, your money. And like I said, any significant, like your ex-husband, or even your husband, if you're currently married to a good man. Yes, we'll deal with that as well. Yes, and we deal with it in the 90 days. Even though we get all that done, right? Yes, I am still available for ongoing support. Like I said, you can renew and we can continue to work on new and exciting things that you want to happen in your life. Thank you so much for the love. Drop a comment below so I know who's out there watching. But that's what I had for you today. That's what I wanted to share with you. And I also will share this final point, as I've said also, 5 times now? I also work with business coaches, sales coaches, marketing visibility coaches, executive coaches, career coaches, any coach that's in kind of like the non-transformational space. And I use that term non-transformational space lightly, because all coaching is innately transformational, because you're helping somebody shift their thinking and their actions, right? But when what you do is not inherently emotional, right, or going to these deeper levels like what I do, you can sometimes find yourself with clients in your program that are not getting the results. And because you've spoken to them, and you can see their potential, you can see it, but it's that they're in their own way. And if they could just get out of their own way, then they will be able to implement your strategies and see success in their business and in their life. If that is your scenario, that is their situation, I absolutely do collaborate with other entrepreneurs to help them in their program by providing that mindset and emotional support to their clients, so that their clients can get clear and implement those strategies and get that result. Stay in your zone of genius. Stop trying to do all this heavy lifting, trying to be all things to your clients. Stick to what you're great at. And if I'm able to provide that emotional mindset piece for you, I'm happy to do that. We can talk about it, I should say, because we got to make sure we are in alignment and whatnot. So definitely DM and reach out to me if that sounds good, or if you'd love to work one-on-one with me and solve these issues and challenges and things that you're experiencing. You can reach out to me because I'm streaming live on LinkedIn. I'm streaming live on Facebook. So you can DM me there, or you can visit my website at coachjamila.com and message me there. You'll also be able to learn a little bit more about me, my process. And yeah, so feel free to reach out to me on any of these platforms. And I look forward to seeing you next time, as I'm really enjoying doing these lives and connecting with you all. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You take care.